Hi there, it's Kristen from k.becca, and today we'll be making a clean and simple card that was inspired by some really cool washi tape. The first thing that I did is cut a piece of plain white cardstock to 4 inches wide by 5 1/4 inches tall, which is a little bit smaller than standard A2 size. Then, I'm going to take a T-square, and you could also use a regular ruler, and I'm going to line it up at the top left corner of the cardstock. Next, I'm going to use a pencil to mark the cardstock at every 1/4 inch. I'm just making small dot marks, which will be covered up later. After I'm done marking my cardstock, I'm going to take this super sweet gold foil X&O washi tape from Little B and use it to make the background for the card. This tape is very narrow, only about 1/8 of an inch wide, and as soon as I saw it, I knew that I wanted to use it to make stripes, which is what I'm going to do next. I'll start tearing pieces of the tape that are about 1 inch wider than the cardstock on either side. Then I'm going to line the bottom of each piece up at the top of one of the pencil markings that I made earlier to form a stripe. I'll continue doing this for each pencil marking, trying to get each piece of tape as straight as I can as I pull it tight across the cardstock. I actually forgot that I needed a piece of tape right along the bottom of the cardstock too, so I went back and added that later. Once I'm done making the washi tape stripes, I'm going to use my fingers to press down all over the card to make sure that the tape is adhered in place. And after that, I'm going to start folding the ends of each of the strips of tape over onto the back of the card. I'm folding the ends over instead of cutting them off because washi is a low-tack tape and I was concerned about the edges popping up over time. By folding the ends over, I'm making a nice clean transition over the sides of the cardstock, and I'll be able to adhere the ends of the tape in place so they won't pop up later. You'll see how I do this in a little bit. When I'm done folding the tape edges over to the back of the card, I'm going to cut out the phrase "Love You" from the My Favorite Things stitched alphabet Die-namics using my manual die cutting machine. I'm cutting the letters from super shiny gold foil cardstock to match the gold foil letters on the washi tape. After I've cut all of the letters, I'm going to line them up on the front of the card where I want to adhere them. The stripes make this part really easy because you can use them as guides to line up the letters perfectly. I'm only doing one word at a time because I wasn't exactly sure where I wanted the U in relation to the love, so I wanted to glue that in place before I laid out the second word. I'm using a handy-dandy sticky tool to pick up and hold each letter as I add Tombow Mono Multi glue to the back. I've said this before in other videos, but I really like these sticky tools like the quick stick that I'm using here when I'm working with smaller pieces. But it's optional, you definitely don't need it here. After I've glued all of the letters for the word love in place, I'm going to line up the letters for the word you and center them underneath. Then I'll glue those in place just like I did with the letters for love. Once all of the letters are glued in place, I'm ready to attach the front of my card to the base. I want to pop up that card front a little bit, and this was the perfect excuse for me to use fun foam. I've seen a number of card makers using this technique, and I've been wanting to try it. First, I cut a piece of fun foam to a little smaller than the card front. You don't need to be perfect about this. You'll notice that my fun foam isn't cut very straight. Just make sure that the piece is smaller than the card front. I wasn't able to get my double-sided adhesive runner to adhere to the foam, so I used score tape instead. I used 5/8 inch wide score tape and added 4 strips to each side of the foam, making sure that the far left and far right strips were less than 1 inch from the side edges of the foam. I'm going to turn my card front over and press down any loose ends of the washi tape that have popped up. Then I'm going to remove the backing paper from the strips of score tape on one side of the fun foam, and I'll press it adhesive side down onto the back of the card front. You'll see a few of those ends pop back up before I press the foam in place, and they'll be adhered in place as soon as I press down on the foam, but you could also press them down again right before you add the foam. Lastly, I'm removing the backing paper from the remaining strips of score tape, and I'll turn the card front over so the tape is facing down, and center it over the front of a top-folding A2 size card base that I cut and scored earlier. After I press the piece into place, the card is finished. I love how shiny both the letters on the tape and the die-cut letters are on the finished card. They complement each other without being visually overwhelming. You can find a full list of supplies used in this project in the description area below, or in the area below the video if you're watching this on k.becca.com. If you enjoyed this project and would like to see more videos like this one, then please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I hope you'll tune in again next time.